I always talk about experimenting with clay, and when you're throwing, you practice with a purpose. And today I want to show you some of the things I've been doing in my studio and one experiment with the wooden profile tool on a vase. And then what happens to the vase when you start to mess around too much with the clay. For this piece I threw a vase probably about 2 pounds. As you can see, it's a little bit wobbly near the top, and it started to bug me, so I kept trying to rework it. And I'm experimenting with my wooden profile rib, and right now there's an excessive amount of clay on there, and I'm going to leave it a little bit thicker than normal because I'm started to use a lot of stamps and pressing that in, and I like to experiment with the glazes and that effect. This vase is probably a little bit thicker than I normally would throw. I'm allowing the slight pressure of the wooden profile tools to make the imprints, and it's important that you lubricate your tool so it doesn't catch the clay and rip it off. I'm using both ends because they have different designs, different effects, and if you happen to see that little bead right there, we're just going to pull that down with the tool. And if there's a one that I don't want to go any higher than that, then I'll use the flexible metal rib to take care of that. It's just a look. If you've ever cut yourself with a flexible metal rib, it hurts. As you've been throwing for a while and your hand becomes kind of soft, it's important that you don't just grab the clay off with your fingers and rip it. So I use a sponge. It's about safety, folks. Safety. At this stage I revisit the wobbling rim, and it's bothering me, and the clay's probably pretty thin. I don't have a lot there. So I'm trying to put a little bit of pressure, pinching with my finger and my thumb. Oh, we lost it. It's going to require the needle tool. So I needle that off, and what I've done though is visually I've made this a very short, stout piece. So after fixing that and looking at it for a few moments, I said, you know what? Maybe I can just lift it up, pull that up into a different form, give it some height. So after leveling off the rim, I'm going to collar in just slightly again, trying to make it thicker at the top. I'm going to open up the top of the vase, pulling it out, similar to when you're throwing a bowl. And it's just like it was before. I mean, sometimes the clay just doesn't want to cooperate, even though you may have done it 1,000 times. That's part of the fun of actually working with clay. It's not quite the same. So the rim's got me mad, but I'm thinking all along, I'm just going to turn this into some sort of oil carafe, or give it a little spout, fix it, no problem. I don't want to apply a lot of water, so what I've done is I grabbed a little bit of the slurry that I've put on the side of my little bucket, and I use that because it's slipperier than water, and I use that to lubricate the sides of the walls. And again, even collaring pressure, if something goes off a little bit, grab it again. So there's how it's going to be. And I'm thinking the whole time, well, what do I want to do with this? And here are some of the vases that I experimented with, including the one from the clip. I'm trying to zoom in and show you some of my stamps that I put down to give some texture.